We're always delighted when spring arrives because the flower garden really comes to life. It changes from the drab winter to the beautiful flowers that you see behind me, amongst so many others. I asked Elisabeth to take us for a little bit of a walk around and talk about some of the flowers that are her favourites and things that have done really well throughout spring.
We've come to the end of spring in Australia and the colours in the garden are coming out. Today is a little bit drizzly, but we thought we'd film anyway. I really like this rose. Its name is Pat Austin. It is a David Austin rose, and you can see it's coming to end in this particular flower, peachy colours, and I have other varieties of the David Austin. I do recommend these because they're an abundance of flower. They grow quite tall, they come in climbers as well. I do have other varieties of roses. I do have some floribundas, and I just really was taken by these particular colours. And this one is called For Your Eyes Only. The tag is very different to the real thing, so you will have to always take notice of that.
It looks peachy, but that's pink.
You must always take notice of things like that, that no matter what the plant, the colour isn't, the printout isn't always to the same as the real thing. I just loved the variety of the colour, and so I do have other plants, but I like the David Austin mostly. This one is the family to the other one that I showed you, Your Eyes Only. This one is Eyes for You. So I was really taken by this because of the two tones in there. I have light colours in the garden, but I do really love these rich dark colours. This one is called, what is it called, Samuel? It's a dianthus. And they do come in other tones, but I really was taken by this rich red. And you can see I've had it for about 2 years and it's grown really well now. You can see how big it grows to. So white flower down here is called Snow in the Summer, and it really flowers a long time, and it's easy to transplant. Once it's like this, I can cut out bunches with the root system and transplant it elsewhere, and it grows really fast. And when it's not in flower, it's just in silver foliage. Earlier in the year I planted along here all sorts of seeds, and they're finally starting to come into flower. This one is a lupin. I didn't know what I had because it was a surprise seed that it was given. And so it is actually really amazing with the two tones, and then eventually, well, we'll see all the other colours. Maybe they're all the same, maybe they're different. When I put these in, they were little plants, and look how tall they are. They're Flanders poppies, and they're really interesting because they've basically got two flowers inside each other, and they feel like paper. Do you like them, Samuel?
Yes, and inside it's a bit black.
I have a lot of flower heads on here, as you can see, so we'll have lots of flower for quite a while. But we do find with the big gust of wind, the petals do blow off. And so along here I did plant little seeds. These ones are baby blue eyes, and they've been flowering for at least a month now. And what a great colour they are. I've never planted them before, but I'll definitely do it again. Something I sourced from a market, just a tiny little plant many years ago, is this campanula, and it has just multiplied and multiplied, and you can dig it up at the base and move it and it'll just start all over again. It is really tough and hardy. I don't hardly ever have to water. It seems to multiply really fast. It's a worthwhile plant. I don't know the technical name of this particular one other than it comes from the campanula family. This one is another one of the campanula family. It's only a young plant, so in time it should multiply at the base. I really like this because it's blue, and it's hard to get some really intense blues in the garden. It's called Lithidora, was it a baby blue, It came as a tiny little plant, and you can see it spreads really well. I have a few of those in the garden, and so over time it'll creep really, really wide and fill the area. I'm a real fan of clematises because you can see what fabulous colours they are, and I'm absolutely impressed by the size that they come out as. This one, look how huge it is. This one is called Fireworks, and this one is called Barbara Harrington. I've guided this one because it actually wants to go up, and I've made it go along the fence, and it's turned out all right. This one's called Nobi, well that's how I pronounce it, and this is the first time I've actually cut all my clematises back. I've had them for several years now, and I'm glad I did because they've turned out better now than ever. What a great show, and what a great colour. This flower here is called a geum. Yeah, they do come in other colours. You can get little ones, but I like these tall ones. The wind does bash them over a little bit, but what a great little plant. Tiny little flowers, but it actually flowers for at least 2 months. And then up here, I have 2 standard roses. This one is burgundy.
And here we're coming to a red flower called hot chocolate.
This rose is hot chocolate, and it will also flower for a long time through the summer. This is a floribunda, and it is called
Sunset.
So this is called a sunset, and it will flower for a long time. It gives lovely little bunches like a bouquet. And this is a David Austin variety called Lady Charlotte. And I find this creeper is a worthwhile creeper, the little blue star. So in line you'll find blue star, and it once had wood chip in there, but now it is all the creeper. And we have over here a bidden, and I have in other beds several different colours. This is all this is called bidden. I recently planted these in the spring, and I find with them they just flower ongoingly, looking really lovely, and they come in reds and fiery oranges. This is yellow bunny, and it's a great climber. It flowers for quite a while, has an abundance of bunches. I have had to tie it back today because we've had so much wind that the branches were so heavy they might snap. Some did snap. This is related to the penstemon family. It's the only one I found as a creeper flat variety, but what a great colour. It's called Heavenly Blue, and in the evening light it almost glows. It has an intense colour. And I really find this a favourite too because of how beautiful the pinks and the purple blue, the combination is really nice. I redid this garden bed, leaving some plants, changing some plants. I put some bidden in there that we saw earlier, so you've got some reds and more yellows. They've just done a great flower. I'll definitely try and find more. I've found they've been flowering for at least a month already, and they have only improved. So I know for a fact, having had the yellow one before, it'll flower for a little bit through winter as well. It'll just keep coming. And here I talked about geum earlier. I have some geums in, this one is a recent one, the orange and the yellow. And so they were nice little tall ones there. And I have a catmint over here. I am a bit of a fan of catmint because I love how it looks. And I have frost over here, one called Frost, Snow Frost. And that one, well, it does say to have it in the shade, and I haven't because I can see there's a few sun rust marks in there. When I reconstructed it, I was thinking about colour, the yellows and some oranges, because in most gardens it's pink and purple, and I really would like to have other colours like these deep reds and the yellows and oranges in the garden. I really like Iceland poppies, so they've been really worthwhile. They were just little plants, but they will die down. I'll keep collecting the seed and I'll be able to scatter them and start again. But what a great little plant, very nice. When I created this garden, I was in the thought of what colours work with each other. So the yellow Graham Thompson rose as a climber, and this clematis being the purple Ortole Violette is the name, and it is just, you can see how it just has taken off lovely, lots and lots of petals. And I know it is a dark purple, but I really love the purple and the yellows together. And down here is a worthwhile flower called Erisseum wallflower, and it is flowered all year, and it was doing really well through winter. I can see it's starting to just come to a bit of an end. I'll clip it back and then it'll start again. But it is just so worthwhile out of the Erisseums that I have others, but this one flowers the longest. Out of all the clematises that I cut back, I didn't actually cut this one back because it looked like it would be all right. Earlier in the month it was more colour. It's starting to come to an end now. We're coming to the end of spring, so it has been flowering at least a month. But what a great colour, what a good show. And I did cut these back, and I'm so glad I did, because they've just put out a good show. When you cut things back, you don't always know for the first time, was that a good idea? But it was. What a good colour, great purple. I really love the vibrancy of the purples in the plants. And I also composted down at the bases just to top it up. Hope, you know, it'll definitely make it better. And I must do that more often, because I do find in the summertime the bases can dry out. At the beginning of October, I went to a specialist clematis nursery, which was loads of fun, and I chose a variety of clematises. The plants are very young, so it will take some time for an abundance of flowers to happen, but they are just starting to come into flower. I have one here that is flowering. I'm always thrilled about my garden because there's always changes, and when springtime comes, well, what will it look like this time? If you look on Instagram, you'll see photos as time goes on, what I've been doing, all the nice colours that come.
I hope you enjoyed that little look around our flower garden. One of my favourites are these laburnum trees, and I think they're really beautiful this time of the year. They don't flower for very long, but they're so spectacular when they do. We grow them outside our normal fence in an area where wildlife can access them. Being a poisonous plant, they obviously are quite toxic because nothing touches them at all. It means they're totally immune to the possums and the wallabies and the rabbits that would otherwise decimate them out here. And it's really nice to have one or two of those types of plants that you can grow outside and know that they're safe. So if you're looking for an exotic plant that you're wanting to grow in an area like ours that has lots of wildlife around it, have a go at a laburnum, because even when they're not in flower, they're still quite a pleasant tree to enjoy. Thanks for watching this video, and I trust you enjoyed it. We'll be back with more gardening or projects in the next week or two.